podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Ed, how you doing?
I'm very good, thanks. You?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I was standing in the scoreboard paddock, the endangered scoreboard paddock for the Watford game. There were a few people with a few signs held up. I counted one long banner and 4 bits of A4. Not exactly a unified protest. Pretty sure, wouldn't swear to this, pretty sure that the singing section started singing "No one gives a stuff." No one gives a stuff. I might have changed the lyrics there slightly when that protest went up. But I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, it's a pretty dumb protest. No?
Yeah. The argument that I've heard a few times is that that you're losing a bit of atmosphere if you lose that bit of the ground. And that is an argument that holds absolutely no weight, because although it was standing all the way through in a game where United played pretty well, I mean, okay, not a big game, but United put on a bit of a show, there was next to no noise from that bit of the ground all the way through.
You're saying people in wheelchairs can't make some noise?
Well, no, but that's what people are saying, because it's it's obviously a more disparate grouping when you're in terms of the physical space, but they're not going to make any less noise than was being made in that scoreboard paddock. I mean, the argument that the seats are cheap is a good argument, and it's not hard to be cynical about United, is it?
True. Yes. Although it's making, ticket prices are making up a smaller and smaller proportion of United's overall revenue anyway. So it's part of the reason why when they announced the 17-18 season ticket prices this week, they froze ticket prices again for, 6th or 7th year in a row. So in terms of the actual impact on the bottom line, it's very small to freeze them now. We know exactly what the Glazers did when it was important to them to have ticket prices higher when it was actually a substantial part of United's revenue. Anyway, we're starting the podcast off on something of a sort of negative conversation, really. Well, sort of. When there was actually a game in which United didn't draw at home to a mediocre side. What's going on?
It was so good. It was so good. It's like winning the Champions League. We were fifth in the league for hours, I tell you.
Giddy stuff, that is. Do you remember a time before United was 6th? I'm not sure I do.
Oh, yes. Saturday for however many hours it was until Liverpool scored their first.
No. What happened was a black monolith descended to earth and apes beat the shit out of each other. That's the last time United were higher than 6th.
It was a really fun game of football from start to finish. It was like all the games of football we've had this season, except with goals. There's so many of those frustrating games. And what are we? This is recorded before City play on Monday. We're 2 points off second place. What a ridiculous fact!
Yeah, well, after City beat Bournemouth 7-5 or whatever it's going to be on Monday night, 'cause it will be something like that. I guess we'll be 4 points off second, but it's really compressed. It's certainly a very tight race for second place. I mean, Chelsea drew on Sunday. Can't imagine they're going to let a 10-point gap slip. It's happened before, but I can't imagine it will this time. They look very, very solid, don't they, Chelsea? But race for the Champions League is definitely on, and United put in a very competent performance. It wasn't that exciting as a performance. It was. I think I in the Rankcast WhatsApp group, I called it one of the most Mourinho-esque performances from United, because actually for about a lot of the first half, perhaps even the first hour or so, United were prepared to just let Watford have the ball and then hit them on the break, which was very effective. for the most part. And then the last half hour, United was so dominant, they monopolised possession, but it was very, very comfortable. And at no point did it look like Watford would really get away with not being beaten.
I mean, I would say you're right in a technical sense. At no point did it look like it. But when Mkhitaryan skied that ball over the bar and Zlatan had already missed one pretty great chance and then actually a very tricky chance and one that he did brilliantly to carve out for himself. But yeah, and I think Zlatan so he had one saved at the near post. He did that chest and spin and volley that went over the bar and Mkhitaryan skied it over the bar. And at that point you're thinking, oh no, not again. And actually Zlatan tried to stuff up Mata's goal as well. Like, if Zlatan had made contact with the kind of behind the foot flick he was trying to do, I think it would have just gone to where the defenders were at the near post. But fortunately, he missed, which kind of made them all miss and meant Mata could poke it home. And definitely from that point on, United looked comfortable. I thought the football that United were playing was really exciting in the first half an hour of that game. Martial really looked lively and excited and happy to be there. Mkhitaryan was wonderful and Mata was wonderful, and there was one big lumbering, amazing, legendary footballer causing a lot of problems to United.
Fellaini didn't play though, so what's your problem with him? No. I mean, Ibrahimovic was. I was getting really frustrated with him because he kept coming deep. I mean, for the love of God, when you've got Mkhitaryan and Mata and Martial behind you, and Mata was drifting inside as he is wont to do a lot. Pretty flexible three behind him. They're running or trying to run in support. So was Pogba. So was Herrera, actually, because he got forward perhaps even more than Pogba. And Zlatan's in their zone, as Robin Van Persie would call it, all the time. Just kept on coming deep. And, at no point was he showing United an option to play the through ball or to go over the top or to change it up at all. Just meant all the footballers in front of Watford. It's, it is a challenge. I mean, obviously the guy's got 20 goals this season, so that's pretty important in the scheme of things. But it doesn't half make United play in a certain way. Watford weren't good enough to stop United this time out.
I mean, I genuinely thought it was watching it in the stadium, I genuinely thought it was a 1 out of 10 performance from Ibrahimovic. I think retrospectively, that's probably a little bit harsh because 1 out of 10 implies nothing good at all. And he did a few things well. I mean,
got an assist.
He did, absolutely. I mean,
that'll boost his rankings and all the, the performance rating things.
7.9 on who scored. That is a faulty metric right there. But the time when he burst into the box, took it on his chest, span and blasted it over the bar, that was almost the first run behind the defenders he'd made all game. And it was really interesting when he made that run because you think, actually, he's playing kind of rope-a-dope with these defenders in a way by not making any runs into the box ever until that one. And they were completely all at sea to handle it. And it's a shame he kind of had to do something really elaborate to make a proper chance out of that. But generally speaking, it was immensely frustrating. It looked like Watford's back three was there to be kind of got beyond at pretty much at will. I mean, not very often Ibrahimovic is going to be favoured in a foot race against a Premier League centre-back, but against Yunus Kabul, he probably is, especially if he gets a running start. And
I mean, Kabul is a player who's been stealing a wage in the Premier League for 10 years. It's amazing. He's still playing in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He's got some dirt on someone.
And Ibrahimovic didn't take advantage of that. And I saw some people being quite critical of the opening sort of 20 minutes of Martial's performance. But basically, every time he got the ball into dangerous positions, he would look across and find no one in the box. And when there was someone in the box, it was often Mata, so the ball had to go along the ground, at which point, the defenders were well placed to clear it. So it was quite frustrating, but United still managed to carve out, even kind of carrying Ibrahimovic, essentially, they managed to carve out some really fine chances. Pogba was, great. Just great, I thought.
Yeah, and in a slightly deeper position, obviously, because no Carrick in the side, and we talked about the kind of question over the Mkhitaryan-Carrick Mata trio and how you could perhaps get Mata and Mkhitaryan both into the side. And it's very nice when they're both in the side, isn't it? And that basically means losing Carrick. So Pogba was a little deeper, but completely bossed the game, as you'd kind of expect when he's 1v1 against Tom Cleverley.
Yeah, fair enough. Two United youth products there of varying different career trajectories.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we should talk about Anthony Martial. What did you make of his performance?
Well, look, I think this was something of the Martial of the past, in that he looked a bit more confident. He got the ball, and what you want is the ball in front of him. Him either running into space or running with the ball at his feet, and attacking players, and he did that a lot. And there were some successes and quite a lot of failures in doing that. But he scored a very good goal, kept his composure, which was important, and got an assist as well. And I thought overall a very good performance from him, and it's got to be one further step on the road to sort of recovery or redemption in Mourinho's eyes, I'd hope.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that 3 looks like the 3, doesn't it? And I would have loved, because we were 1-0 up, I would have loved Mourinho to roll the dice and take Ibrahimovic off at half-time and put Rashford on just to see what happened. But obviously that was very unlikely to ever happen.
Well, it would give United a completely different dimension. Ibrahimovic has been a world-class player for the last 15 years or so, but he's not going to trouble any of the back 4 or 3 of any Premier League clubs with his pace, and he doesn't run in behind defenders at all. United have to play a certain way. And when he's doing this, which is what he was doing in the early part of the season, which is coming towards the ball 15 yards outside of the penalty area, he's not that effective. He gets the ball and turns and stuff, but it actually then means that United's 3 behind really have to run ahead of the ball. And that just wasn't the game United were playing. United were playing ostensibly on the break, even though they had 58% possession. They were trying to play in broken play. And so Ibrahimovic coming basically into the tip of midfield is causing all sorts of problems.
Yeah, no, absolutely. His numbers are really fascinating in that game. So he had 7 shots, 4 off target, 2 on target. I don't think either of them produced a good save from Gomez. And his passing, people were talking about his hold-up play being good. He gave the ball away 37% of the time, like 63% pass completion is remarkably low for a player who is mostly playing straightforward passes, but he made 6 key passes in that game, which there's no way I would have had it that high just from watching the game,
No, I wonder whether that's just laying it off for a long shot. United took a lot of long shots in this game. A lot. In fact, there's only 3 shots on target inside the area in the whole game. 2 of them went in, and took like 7 or 8 long shots that hit the target. And really, United. Looking at the XG, United shouldn't score from those.
No, but mentioning XG is kind of interesting because United underperformed XG in a 2-0 win, which is hard to do. Like, it doesn't happen that often.
No, that's because of all those long shots.
Because they add up. And I guess the Ibrahimovic chance where he cleared it off the line probably had a very big XG number next to it.
Oh, I mean, great clearance, almost an overhead.
It's amazing. That was amazing. And that just kind of summed up his day, really. I mean, I think that the point about how United play, I don't know if this is rose-tinted spectacles, but I would say that is one of the more egregious examples of the thing that you've been talking about all season. And I would say that actually he's been less static than that on plenty of occasions. This was a particularly very standout type of performance like that. Somebody pointing out to me that this is not just about Carrick, but about the fact that we're playing 4-2-3-1 with a 10 as opposed to 4-3-3 where it's him and 2 other wide forwards and there's almost more space there, and somehow he I don't know, it's kind of counterintuitive because you'd think with the 10 he would think less that he has to be the 10, but he just, as you said, he did it all game. 1 goal
in the last 5 for Ibrahimovic, so after that burst of form through Christmas and just into the new year, it's slowed down a little.
I bet it picks up again, though. I bet there's another one. That would
I'm
be
sure.
my bet.
I'm sure.
Some other great performances. Brian Herrera, Roy Herrera, N'Golo Herrera, the man, the myth, the legend, the interception and tackles machine that is Ander Herrera. Did you see that slide tackle, Ed? Did you see it? Did you see the slide tackle Ander Herrera did?
He had a great game again. He was, all energy and actually, if you look at the heat map, he's playing a little further forward of Pogba. That's because he kept running into space all the time, And he's having a great season.
Also, I wonder whether a lot of that is to do with how aggressively he presses. Like when United haven't got the ball, he's getting it back a long way up the pitch. 7 tackles in that game. That's a lot of tackles for a team with 57% possession.
It is.
And another player whose defensive contribution is more than worthy of note is United's best centre-half by some considerable margin.
Marcos Rojo. He didn't play.
Eric Bailly was outstanding in that game. Outstanding.
He's back, yeah. I mean, so is this Jones and Rojo no longer United's best centre-back partnership?
Well, I don't know, because it's almost Van Gaal-esque from Mourinho. He doesn't seem to want to play Bailly with Jones or Rocco.
Yeah.
He's playing, when Bailly plays, Smalling plays.
Very odd. Yeah, I mean, look, United have conceded hardly any goals recently. It's like 3 in the last 12 or something. If you exclude penalties, there's hardly any goals at all. So defensively, United are outstanding, and it doesn't seem to matter who's in that back four, because 3 of those back 4 places are up for grabs all the time, it seems. The only other one, Valencia, who's absolutely United's best right back because he's having an outstanding season. Very good again, I thought, against Watford, just bombing forward. He allows Mata just drift inside. He kind of makes that system viable. If Mkhitaryan's going to play at 10, he's by no means a traditional number 10. You'd expect Mkhitaryan to lose the ball sometimes because he runs with it so much. Mata drifts inside to play the much more traditional number 10, and Valencia is bombing up the wing to give United width.
At one point, Bailly was bombing up the wing to give United width as well. He spanned someone in the box and put in a fire cross. Like, the guy can do everything. I mean, you say 3 out of those 4 positions are up for grabs, and I don't disagree with you, because we did see someone other than Bailly take the reins, but it's going to be hard to displace him from that back 4, I would suggest. Now that he's back and he's going to be here for the rest of the season, it's going to take an injury to get him out of that side, I'd say. He's a cut above the rest of those defenders.
Very classy player.
Oh, talking of classy players, one that I've been very critical of for weeks on end this season, a player who finally had a good game. Daley Blind, his first good game since, can't even really remember when, but it's maybe his first good game since Leicester at home. I might be forgetting one, but I thought he was excellent. He was a little shaky at first, then he really grew into that and provided Martial with a lot of support, and did some very good defensive work too.
Yeah, all his best performances ever for United have come at left back.
apart from like that centre back performance against Everton when he had Lukaku pocketed.
Is that what a pocket sounds like?
I don't know. I just wanted to go. That's the noise that came out when I did the hand motion for pocketing. It was.
It's like a dying frog.
Yeah, exactly. He pocketed him like a small child would pocket a dying frog whilst brooking a muddy ford. Fording a muddy brook. I don't know, one way or the other. But yeah, 5 tackles and 3 interceptions from Blind in a game where it didn't feel like the defensive stuff was the thing he did most of. So yeah, I was impressed and delighted to see Daley Blind playing well again for the first time in a while. Not the toughest opposition, admittedly, but
No, I mean, Mourinho made a lot of Watford's sort of supposed organisation and defensive rigour and all of that before the game, and there's something in that, although they have conceded quite a lot of goals this season. But, Mazzari's old school, and they have at times this season set up quite old school, They're prepared to be be we didn't see that much of that at Old Trafford, I don't think.
There was a few niggly sort of kicky business. There was some kicky business. Troy Deeney tried to bully Eric Bailly, but he did not succeed in bullying Eric Bailly, because I think Eric Bailly might be unbullyable.
Yeah, well, it's one brick shithouse against an even bigger brick shithouse there.
It's funny seeing Deeney play live. Never seen him play live before. It must be a nightmare to play against him. I reckon if you put him up front in a really good team, he would just be mega destructive. Not like saying he's a world beater or anything, but he's definitely a unique challenge for opposition defenders, I would say.
Big unit is Troy Deeney.
Yeah, he really is. Very, very noticeably so. But yeah, we talked briefly about Martial, and you were saying, this is something like the form we've seen, a goal and an assist. You can't really complain. I think it's 3 goals and 3 assists in his last 5 starts for United. So the idea that Mourinho is somehow, Mourinho's tactics are somehow working, his man management tactics are somehow working on Martial seems very bizarre to me, since what he's doing is basically what he did last season. But, a lot of people will no doubt give Mourinho credit if Martial bursts through and has an amazing last part of the season.
Including Mourinho.
Yes, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. Jose Mourinho will be fully convinced that Jose Mourinho handled the situation perfectly.
He will indeed. Well, look, whatever. It was a good performance of Martial. I think that's a bonus. Herrera and Pogba, very solid in central midfield. Mata and Mkhitaryan dovetail, brilliantly. The back four was excellent. It wasn't the most exciting United performance ever, but it was very solid, and it was a win against, as I call them, mediocre opposition at home. And there have been 6 draws against crappy opposition at home this season. I include Arsenal in that.
So you include Liverpool as well, because you should, because they were terrible that day.
Yeah, I'm won this weekend, so of course all the Scousers are out saying it's their year again. But it's not. So a lot of frustrating draws against this kind of side, and so it was important United won, and they did.
Yep, good save from De Gea from the free kick, and like you say, a thoroughly Mourinho performance. He talked about it himself, actually. He talked about style of play, because he talks about it all the time. And he said he thought that for, parts of the first half, we were like playing absolutely wonderful football. And I totally agree with him there. Like you say, not the most exciting performance in United history, but there was 20 minutes where it was a complete joy to watch us. And he said then at the end, so we kill the game by making it 2-0, then we kill the game again tactically by bringing on Fellaini. I like Mourinho. He's a silly man, but I like him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was, yeah. Oh, dear. I have to say, I'm, physically and mentally shaking my head every time Fellaini comes on with 20 minutes to go. Just to close it out, right? Yeah. Even though he has no defensive skills whatsoever.
He's good at chest control. He did a nice chest control, and loads of people around me were like, yes, there it is, the chest. That was good. That was one of the highlights of the game.
All right.
Thoroughly enjoyable. Loads of airings for the Herman's Hermits song, which is always a good sign in terms of United playing well. And we roll on with Saint-Etienne coming up. So shall we do some Twitter questions before we get to the preview, the in-depth, detailed, fully realised analytical preview of Saint-Etienne and Blackburn Rovers?
Let's do it.
What I'm saying, Ed, is shall I use up loads of the time on the show so we don't have time to demonstrate how bad our previews are going to be of these games?
I know loads about Saint-Etienne.
You're going to make an indie joke now, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I don't even know who the members of the band Saint-Etienne are to make that joke.
Go for it. Twitter questions.
Okay. We heard this week that a former Manchester United players WhatsApp group exists with at least Rio Ferdinand and Anderson in it. And at what Dever says, who else do you think is in the former MUFC players WhatsApp?
Awesome. Well, it's got to be players of that era then. Do you think Ronnie's in it?
No way. No, Ronnie doesn't acknowledge any of these people existed in his life.
Wow.
He'll acknowledge Fergie, but the rest of the players were just impediments to the continued glory of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Sad.
Bigly sad. Raphael's got to be in it, hasn't he? He was of the same era. Ji-sung Park and Evra are probably in it.
Oh, surely. Yeah. Surely. Yeah. But they also have their own group.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just them two. And Carlos Tevez. who is not in the broader United Players WhatsApp. It's a whole political thing. Occasionally, Park Ji-sung will share screenshots of that WhatsApp chat in the other one and then ask Patrice Evra not to tell the people in the main group that he's doing it. It's a whole thing that I just made up. At Cryptic Android, serious grown-up question. Is Mourinho starting to favour the 4-2-3-1 more over the 4-3-3? Or is he limited due to Carrick being dropped or rested or whatever?
No, I think he switches to that system when Carrick's not in it. United struggle to play with the three without Carrick. So he hasn't played too many games against opposition, well, at least post-October, against opposition that he's concerned about without Carrick, has he?
No, but there was a distinct pattern that it was 4-3-3, 4-3-3, 4-3-3, and then that's gone for. It's been a while since we played that system, really. And then actually, I think the last two games we've played it, he's changed it at half time, back to 4-2-3-1. So I wonder whether he just thinks that the run that various different players are in, he thinks he's getting enough defensively out of Pogba and Herrera that he can do without Carrick, maybe. At Matt Butler 7 says, if Antoine Griezmann does come to United, what do you think is the best formation / personnel to get the best out of him and Pogba? A question that no French manager has been able to answer yet.
Well, Griezmann isn't a natural number 9. And he's not really a number 11, is he? He's not exactly a number 10 either. Great player, but where should he play? Not sure.
How you get the best out of him and Pogba, I think it's the great imponderable. I think what you have to do is acknowledge that you're not going to get the very best out of either of them in any formation, because you have to play Griezmann as a second striker in a 4-2-3-1 with a proper centre forward to get the very, very best out of him, and you have to play Pogba on the left of a midfield three to get the best out of him. So can't do both of those things at once, I guess. I think Griezmann coming would be exciting, and I think it would make a big positive difference to United overall, provide a ton of options, score a load of goals, but there would be a ton of compromises along the way. Well,
including the Mkhitaryan-Mata dynamic combo, and perhaps Anthony Martial as well.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, unless you if you imagine that lineup on Saturday, who comes out of that lineup to play Griezmann? It's Mata, isn't it? That's the logical thing in a way. I mean, the logical thing is it's Ibrahimovic. You play Griezmann as a false 9, he'd be less false than Ibrahimovic was against Watford.
Ouch.
I wasn't even really meant as a dig, but he'd be more of a number 9 than Ibra was acting as, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and clearly not. I think if you're going to spend £85 million on a forward, you don't play Griezmann at number 9. Right, it's not his best position, especially in the Premier League. I mean, and especially in that system where he's going to be playing with his back to goal. That doesn't make any sense at all. Let's see if United really are prepared to activate the buyout clause, and there is a buyout clause, then he's going to be coming. It seems that Woodward is after a marquee player each summer now, and United have the cash to do it. If you saw the financial results this week, United very cash rich, debt poor. The debt having risen by about £80 million due to forex changes over the last quarter. Thank you, Brexit.
What could have caused those?
Thank you, Brexit. United's still generating tons of free cash flow at the moment, and I guess they will spend loads of money. Mourinho said there won't be too many players, so it's going to be a few big name expensive players.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting summer. And in a way, the Griezmann signing would be the most exciting signing, but it isn't. You don't look at that squad and go, you know what this squad really needs is another kind of, what's exactly their best position, fast, skillful forward. Kind of got a few of them. Does Zlatan get caught offside too often, asks @_Van Hughes. So many United attacks break down before they get going and it breaks up our rhythm.
I've no idea, actually. I haven't looked at the numbers on this one. Does he get caught out? Is he offside more often than other players?
I don't know the answer to that. I would say that my kind of instinct says he's in a little bit of that late Robin Van Persie phase where he knows that he's got to kind of catch a yard on these defenders, and so he pushes his luck a little bit too much, but that might be confirmation bias. Isn't Bay just a joy to watch, asks @Wormito.
Yes, he's very entertaining and he's a defender.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good combination. The thing is, like, he's entertaining, but not in a flaky way. Like, often entertaining defenders are a bit nerve-wracking to watch, but he's like a sort of genius football man mountain. It's remarkable. His technical level is so high. Like, he's just so good on the ball. And so good at doing the Pogba thing almost, of shielding the ball in ways that you don't quite expect and twisting his body in unexpected directions in order to keep the ball safe. Atlas Falls number 12 says, if Raymond Verheijen's Twitter egg hatched, which Angry Bird would pop out? I think maybe just the standard red one.
Yeah, just particularly angry.
Yeah.
Although I can kind of see him as a kind of, green pig.
Like, so the Angry Birds are the coaches going like, we want to train our players, and he's the pig going, periodisation is important. I think that works. But no, I think the coaches are the established, entrenched establishment. They're the pigs, and he's the Angry Birds firing periodisation missiles at the entrenched establishment. So he's all of them. He's all the different Angry Birds. At Jaffo says, is it too Route 1 for You're in a Bad Way to be your favourite Saint-Etienne track? Asking for a friend. Honestly,
yes, it is.
Is it? Okay. I was going to say it's a band that's completely passed me by, Saint-Etienne, somehow.
Yeah.
So he's got to pick a more hipster selection. Is that what you're saying? His friend, sorry, Jaffo's friend.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't name a Saint-Etienne track, so there you go.
Oh, okay. Well, then in that case, no, it's not too Route 1. You can have that as your favourite track because Ed can't name any. So
no, I think general Route 1-ness is using Saint-Etienne the band as a kind of route into a isn't it funny? There's a club called that as well, or the other way around.
Wow, having a right pop at the listeners.
Well, the audience and all that.
At United
Not literally, unless someone's offering.
Come on now, that word was bleeped. You could have been saying respect to the audience, and Tom just decided to bleep it out. Big congratulations, by the way, to producer Tom on his impending nuptials. We had big news in the Rantcast WhatsApp group this week. It was very joyous.
We did. We warned him off it, but he's gone ahead anyway.
At United, and by we warned him off it.
Well, let's just talk about the relative experience with. I'm kidding. Miss Rant is listening.
At United_Phil says 6th in the Europa League or 2nd and assumed league improvement. Like to win, I guess he's saying finish 6th and win the Europa League or finish 2nd in the league.
Oh, well, we've had multiple versions of this question, right? So, in fact, we talked about it at some point earlier, didn't we? Yeah, what's better, silverware or finishing slightly higher up the table? Well, second's nowhere, isn't it? So you want to win a trophy, although it would be financially devastating for the club to not win the Champions League.
But if they win the Europa League, that's the thing about this question. They're in it. Yeah, there's no Sophie's choice here. 6th in the Europa League is way better because then whoever finishes 4th doesn't get the Champions League place. And
let's just hope that's Liverpool or City.
Yeah, exactly. Is Luke Shaw still a part of Mourinho's plans? I feel like we've talked about this one a lot. Sorry. To at Aniruda112. At Paolo Cruz saying, how long until Bailly becomes first choice again? Or more, and the bit that I'd really like to talk about is who is his best partner? Because I think he's first choice again at centre-back already. And I think the question of who is his best partner is a really interesting one. If you were given the chance to pick the team for a day, assuming you picked Bailly, Ed, who would you pick alongside him?
Well, I think I said earlier in the season that the natural partnership feels like Smalling because he's the defender of the options, isn't he? And Bailly's the ball player. That might just be some kind of, framing bias going on in my head there. Smalling's not had a good season, though. So on form, it's not him, is it? Although it feels like a good partnership.
So you'd go for Smalling?
Yeah, if it's just a pure choice.
Yeah. Based on your picking the team for Saint-Etienne, assuming we're going to play a full-strength team.
Yeah, right now, it's Smalling. Right now.
Interesting. I think I would play Rocco alongside Bailly because Bailly's can definitely be the defender, and Rocco's been doing a very decent defensive job too. And I think Rocco's actually a pretty good partner in a centre-back partnership. Like, he's kind of aware of what the other one's doing a lot.
But he has no idea how to make toast. So
None whatsoever. And it came out in the press that burnt toast gives you cancer, so he's in real trouble.
Ouch.
At MUFC Jeff says, if you had to get a dog, what breed would you choose?
I'm not really big into pets.
No. I think I'd quite like an old English sheepdog, to be honest. Just a big old, like, this is ignoring the practical realities that there's no way I could have a dog. But if I could, I think a massive, great big old English sheepdog would be good. Does anyone have a more sad, disappointed face than Anthony Martial when he misses a chance? Asks at Ritesh_R_Singh. I think, yeah, for a player who's accused of not showing emotion, when he does show his disappointment, you can see he's broken-hearted every time he misses a chance.
Yeah, he has a look of pain on him, for sure.
Yeah, he does. He looked so happy when he scored as well. It was nice. And Mourinho gave him the big Mourinho hug when the kind of, you come to me on my daughter's wedding day kind of hug, That was... Is that the worst Marlon Brando that's ever been attempted? There's got to have been some really terrible.
Well, there was some husk there. There was,
Yeah, there was. But it was a lot more like Grover than Godfather. You'll come to me on my daughter's wedding day.
That's Yoda.
Yeah, well, Grover and Yoda are both Frank Oz characters. It's fine. Close enough. My daughter's wedding day you'll come to me on. This is getting worse. With the potential for 7 out of the next 8 games to be cup games, asks at Shark Hamlet, will we find out if United are a good tournament team? I guess we will.
Yeah.
We could have won a trophy in a couple of weeks' time. 2 weeks today. That makes you a good tournament team if you start winning a trophy, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Does that make Van Gaal's team a good tournament team?
They had a good run. Fairly favourable draw, I think it was, last season. Someone, my friend Joe, pointing out to me that the quarterfinals, if we get past this next round, the quarterfinals of the FA Cup are likely to be absolutely brutal. It's likely to be one of the hardest quarterfinal draws in kind of for a long time, depending on how things go in the next round. But yeah. Oh, okay. I feel like we should address this question, which is from at Dave Boy, which is, why do so many people keep questioning the god that is Zlatan Ibrahimovic? 20 plus goals at the age of 35. Effing hell, he says. I mean, the reason that I don't think too many people are questioning, I mean, some people are, but not too many people are questioning whether it was a good idea for United to sign him. But you can be allowed to say he had a terrible game and caused United a bit of difficulty.
Well, for some people, you're not allowed to say that. Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely not. I think I mentioned that he didn't have a good game on Twitter, and there were several people saying, where would United be without him? Something of a non sequitur.
Yes, absolutely. At Vikash Patel 94 says, have either of you been on safari? If not, would it be something you'd like to do at some point in the future? Couldn't be more of a self-indulgent choice of question for the last question, but there we go. I think we both have, right?
No, I've never been on safari.
Did you never, when you were in South Africa, you never went and saw animals and stuff?
No.
Okay, for some reason I thought you had. I went a few times when I lived in Zimbabwe. Most memorably, my dad, who never lived there, came to visit for a holiday, and we went to Hwange National Park, and we were in a jeep, and there was a rogue bull elephant on his own about 10 feet away from this jeep, and he made a lot of noises and did a bit of stamping, and the guy was like, okay, everyone, don't worry, just sit really still, and in a minute he's going to wander off and this will be fine. And I was like 11 years old and never been more terrified in my life than of Stampy the elephant. But yeah, it's good. Would you like to do it? Is it something you'd like to do?
It's not, I mean, on my list of things, the bucket list of travel things to do, it's not that high. I mean, everyone who ever goes on a safari, and there's lots of people I work with have done it, they all say it's amazing.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely amazing. The one slightly disturbing thing about it was the hotel we were staying at. You'd kind of get there at the end of the night and like all the things you'd seen were on the menu. You'd probably like that. That'd be your favourite bit,
No,
of
I've
course.
done that. Yeah, I did go to one winery in Stellenbosch. So, you know, I ventured out of Cape Town to rich wineries.
How, on a scale of 1 to 10, right? How Tory does this sound?
It really does, doesn't it? Yeah, God. Take this the right way, but Cape Town really is Africa for white people, isn't it? You know, or for Westerners who are a bit scared. Not that I'm scared. I've done very many interesting things around the world, but yeah, going from Cape Town, taking a private limo out to a Ponzi winery, which is what I did, and then eating every animal and having to look up several of them because you're not quite sure what they are. But that's quite tasty.
So fully paid up part of the problem, right? That's what we're saying here.
Yeah. Let's not extrapolate from that one experience to my whole value system.
No,
okay,
absolutely not. Well, I mean, to be fair though, the eating of interesting animals is quite high up your value system, isn't it?
Hey, they're tasty. What can I say?
Anyway, should we talk about some football? Can you tell? I've basically just been waffling to put off the bit of the show where we talk about the upcoming games because I feel woefully ill-equipped to talk about teams either in the French First Division or the Championship, which is what we've got coming up.
Yeah, you know, are we not football hipsters and we don't catch enough? Well, that's the problem. We are too much football hipsters. I can tell you everything about the Czech Third Division and nothing about Ligue 1.
Honestly, the amount of football that I watch outside of United is ridiculously small at the moment. Having to cover United and think so much about them really makes like watching any other football feel like a busman's holiday. So I just end up not doing it. I will like get halfway through Match of the Day most weekends, and then I'm like, who cares what happens between West Brom and West Ham? Although actually that was super exciting this week, and Johnny Evans scored a late equaliser, so that was good. Yeah,
well, Saint-Etienne coming up.
Yeah.
Who finished, reasonably placed in League 1 last season. A classic name of the 1970s. Famous green shirts, the team of Michel Platini and of Laurent Blanc once. That's about all I know. I haven't watched Saint-Etienne once this season. What about you?
No, I haven't. I mean, I guess we should maybe touch upon the fact that this is kind of more relevant to next week's game, the away leg. But in the 70s, United had an infamous clash with Saint-Etienne, which no doubt you are going to be reading tons about in the coming week, because it's just perfect, a perfect time to tell that story. But there was a bread strike in England at the time, and the Saint-Etienne fans were like taking the mickey out of the United fans and throwing stale loaves at them in Saint-Etienne, and the Red Army did not take kindly to this, and there were some ugly scenes, as in the euphemism of the day, which got United thrown out of Europe, but on appeal they managed to get their status reinstated, and they had to play the home leg, in inverted commas, of the tie at Fratton Park, because it was a ground a certain number, I think 400 kilometres away from their home ground, or maybe 300 kilometres actually, doing the maths. But of course, it was just like a home game, because you don't stop the Red Army, do you? Bureaucracy's not getting in the way of that.
You could say in the 70s and 80s there were some rather tasty members of the Red Army, weren't there?
Army was a fairly appropriate name at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah. Look, this is a storied club. They're going to be celebrating their centenary next year. I mentioned Platini and Blanc, but it's also the club of Blaise Matuidi and Dimitri Payet in the past. So, lots of history at Saint-Etienne. I'm waffling because I have no idea about their current side, but there will be a story involved in this game, apart from, qualification for the next round of the Europa League. Paul Pogba's brother plays for Saint-Etienne.
It's the clash of the Pogbas, and he's played a lot in their European campaign so far this season. Not necessarily always a first choice selection. They're actually doing. I'm pretty sure. I looked up the Ligue 1 table when we got drawn against them, and they were struggling. They were kind of very mid-table, but they're right up there now. They're fifth, 1 point off Memphis Depay and Raphael's Olympique Lyonnais. In fifth, so they're and the big problem that they seem to be having last time I looked at the table was scoring goals, but they seem to have fixed that. Although they've scored a lot less than any of the teams in the top four, but they hardly concede. So only Paris Saint-Germain have conceded less than them in the French top flight. Which
it's an interesting competition this year, isn't it? Because Monaco are out ahead. Is this the first time in 600 years or something that Paris Saint-Germain aren't going to win the league?
The first time since United weren't sixth that Paris Saint-Germain are going to not win the league. And, talk about Zlatan deserving credit. Like, losing Zlatan has been an enormous blow to Paris Saint-Germain, it turned out. Monaco have scored 75 goals in 25 games this season. What's going on there? Most of them scored by Radamel Falcao as well. Like,
I know what's going on. Like, everything you've ever heard about Ligue 1 being rubbish is true, because Falcao was shot 2 seasons in England and he was horrible, both for United and Chelsea. So going there and scoring a bag full of goals tells you something. I read a report about Lyon's also Ginkamp the other day, and Memphis Depay in like his first or second game for the club, or whatever it was, took a lot of criticism.
He did. But
bit unfair.
Scored this weekend, just gone.
Yeah.
In a comfortable victory. I think it was an icing on the cake kind of goal. Their top scorer this season is a player called Roman Hamouma, who I have actually watched a YouTube compilation of. There you go. That's research. He's sort of a tricky winger, quite skillful, but I reckon it was pretty evident. You know, when you watch a player's YouTube compilation, which is obviously their best bits, and none of it is that good, and you're like, okay, he's probably not absolutely amazing if this is the best stuff that they can find. But he's a big kind of creative outlet for them and top goal scorer, even though he doesn't often play up front through the middle. And other than that, familiar names. Jordan Vertu played for Aston Villa in their disastrous relegation season. So, that's the level we're talking about here. But I mean, even though this was a very shoddy preview, I think a team that is hardly conceding any goals isn't going to be easy opposition, are they? Because there are like the fact that Monaco have scored 75 goals. There are teams in that division who score plenty, and Saint-Etienne have stopped almost everyone from doing that against them. So, I think taking it for granted would be an error just on that basis alone. Yeah,
totally. And there are teams at home against which United have struggled to score goals as well, funnily enough, although not necessarily in the Europa League. I'm looking forward to it. It is kind of odd that United have got sort of 4 cup games in a row or something. Before and a shame, really, given how compressed the league is, to not actually have any league football for a while. Means it might be a little less compressed when we get back to it.
Yeah, but we'll have the kind of exciting thing of like knowing exactly what we have to do and seeing if we can hit that par, but it's not, excuse me, I think we'd all rather have the games, wouldn't we, at the moment?
And the thing I'm really looking forward to is in this game is which Pogba brother goes in hard on the other Pogba brother first.
Who dabs over whose dead body? Is that what you're saying? In terms of team selection, I mean, given the fact that we're playing Blackburn on the Sunday, I would imagine we're going to see a very, very similar team to the one that just played against Watford, right? There doesn't seem to be any reason to mix that up.
I think he'll play a strong team in this, and he'll make 6 or 7 changes for the team against Blackburn.
Yeah, I bet Rooney plays against Blackburn, for example.
Yeah, well, maybe that's going a bit far. Come on.
Someone pointed out to me, almost a bit wistfully, it's really interesting how quickly the Stretford end have kind of got used to not even really seeing Rooney warming up in a game like that against Watford, that he's become so peripheral so quickly, and it's kind of everyone's just, I mean, I don't see a lot of outrage about it. There's no one going, oh, why isn't he in the team? Why isn't he in the team? I think there's a collective understanding that his race is run, basically, and not with any malice even necessarily. I mean, obviously there are people that have malice towards him, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the kind of just the general, like, yeah, he's done his time, he's done an amazing job, and we're all in the process of moving away from Rooney. And I think especially if we sign Griezmann, it's got to be next to impossible that he's there next season.
Sure. I think he'll go in the summer, don't you?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to. He's got a contract, but I can't see value for United. And unless he just wants to pick up the money, and he's made lots and lots of money in his career, it's not much good for Rooney either.
I think a new adventure for him, and I'll be wishing him luck for that new adventure. New adventure for United? Well, an adventure that we've had many, many times before. Lots of travelling Reds delighted with the prospect of a trip to Blackburn Rovers with a massive, massive United end. It's going to be a noisy one.
It will be, yeah. I can't say I'm a big fan of Blackburn Rovers. They've caused us some pain over the years, haven't they?
Yes.
Yeah, quite enjoyed them getting relegated. And they may well get relegated again because they are dirt poor. This is a crappy Championship team who have struggled both in terms of quality and scoring goals and conceding goals and losing games for some time, symptomatic of the total failure of management that they've had at the club.
Yeah, and I have to say, this is why there was little schadenfreude in seeing Blackburn's suffering for me, because it was the kind of very ugly suffering brought on by terrible, irresponsible ownership, which, you know, it's a sort of there but for fortune go we. Maybe not the bottom of the Championship in United's case, but the Venky's takeover, one of those kind of really unwanted, unheralded takeovers, and just a completely unsuitable outfit to be running a football club. And they're basically running them into the ground, aren't they?
They are. So, you know, since they took over, it's 6 years now since they took over, and they have clearly no idea how to manage a football club. They've gone through tons of managers: Steve Keane, Henning Berg, Michael Appleton, Gary Bauer, Paul Lambert, and now they're on to Owen Coyle, who is a good manager, and you know has achieved much in his career, but you know he's obviously falling on hard times, having to go to Blackburn Rovers, like anyone who would take a Leeds job. You know, it's not quite as desperate as that, but you know, they've had a lot of managers in not much time, with executive management who, you know, are not sure how to run the club, sadly, and it's unfortunate that too many clubs have you know gone this way over the years. I guess that's true. That's been true throughout the history of football. But it feels especially true as the game has become globalised. And it's sad for Blackburn Rovers fans. But, you know, given the way that they celebrated our loss in 1995, I don't care.
This is like the Saint-Etienne fans who are going to definitely try and beat up United fans because of what happened in the 70s. You're still bitter about 1995.
Yeah. Never forget.
Worth pointing out that Owen Coyle will definitely be referring to it as the Emirates FA Cup a lot in his post-match interviews.
Nothing if not loyal to the sponsor.
No, a big proponent of calling it the Barclays. Owen Coyle always was. I mean, I feel like it's very difficult to make predictions for these games based on the opposition, but probably United have won the last two games 5-0 on aggregate with little challenge, really. So we're in a good vein of form again. I guess I'll predict a 2-0 win against Saint-Etienne. That feels maybe a little hopeful, but it'll be a good result, a fantastic result. And then, I think Blackburn is going to be comfortable. I'm going to go 4-0 for that one.
Wow, confident. You cut the preview short somewhat there. Is that because you don't know much about Blackburn?
Well, tell me more, Ed. Tell me more.
I don't know much about Blackburn, but don't really watch the Championship. The occasional game. But Corey Evans and knees up Wes Brown are there.
Oh, yes.
I hope Wes Brown plays.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. If Wes Brown,
that'd be good.
If he plays, it's just going to be 90 minutes of United fans singing the Wes Brown song, isn't it? That's,
Totally. As he's a legend.
Love that guy.
Ish.
Do you know, I think he's one of not that many players at all who was in the 99 Champions League final squad and the 2008 Champions League final squad.
Right.
You don't think of Wes Brown as having been part of the season in 1999, but he was. He was coming through. He's 37 years old. It just
makes you feel old, that does, doesn't it?
Like, it's very strange how Wes Brown's age makes you feel older than your own age does. The other one this week was Chris Smalling is 27. Like, Chris Smalling, I was saying, I put him on a list of players I think United should probably sell this summer. And everyone's like, oh, he's only young. He'll be coming, he could still come good. And he's 27. This is him. This is what we got. Anyway.
Wow, that's a bit knee-jerk.
What? In what way?
Well, having to say, he was great last season, Chris Smalling. He clearly the manager has not been able to take the rough diamond and polish it.
No, he was good between getting sent off against City in late 2014 and getting injured right at the beginning of 2015. He was terrible after he came back for injury at the end of last season. And terrible for quite a long time before that and pretty average before that. So one good calendar year does not a Man United career make, I would argue.
Harsh.
But yeah, it's a bit knee-jerk. We probably don't need to sell him. I just think he's our fourth best central defender, and what we could do with is an upgrade or like get a joint first best one in and bump, Phil Jones down to fourth place. Or Marcus Rocco, I don't know. They can argue out which one of them's higher up in the pecking order. I've got no idea. I didn't think it was that knee-jerk.
That's the problem when you just do listicles. You have to get the clicks, don't you? You're becoming the Piers Morgan of internet journalism.
Listen, I hate to break this to you, Ed, but having a pop at Chris Smalling, it's not a particularly good traffic generator. That, I don't think anyone's going, oh, blimey, can't believe he said that Chris Smalling should go. Let's click on this article. I also said that Wayne Rooney should go, which is perhaps more of a thing.
Looking back at my ratings from last season, I gave Smalling 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that was generous based on the
next few years will decide whether Smalling is a great player or just very good.
Which one is it?
Well, he's not even very good at the moment.
He was quite good against Watford, to be fair. I'm delaying now because I want to give you the whole list on the listicle. See which ones you agree with or disagree with. All right. You prepared to do that with me, Ed?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. I put Antonio Valencia, Jesse Lingard on the we should definitely not sell them list. Those are the only vaguely controversial. Antonio Valencia is not controversial. So Rooney, we should sell Rooney. I'm going to assume you agree with that.
No, I think you should keep him. Great player. Legend.
Talking of great players and legends, Bastian Schweinsteiger.
Yeah, got to go.
This one's going to get the blood boiling. Ashley Young. Taking the creative risk. This is why I put Smalling on the list, because otherwise it would be very route one.
Just, even if you're of the mind to say, even if one is the mind, or if I'm talking to the audience, even if you're of the mind to say, oh, he works hard, Ashley Young, just go look at his numbers. Goals and assists and chances created. Wow. Yeah,
I mean, there was a time when Ashley Young was a useful squad option for us. But
it wasn't even a useful squad option then.
He was. He was brilliant in the 4 good Van Gaal games. I'll go to my grave saying that. Chris Smalling. So you disagree? You don't think we should sell Chris Smalling?
Well, unless United are going to bring in 2 outstanding centre-halves, then there's no point.
Okay, so you would say that you could keep 5 centre-backs on the books, potentially? Even with Tuanzebe and Fosu-Mensah coming through.
Is that your argument, or is it about quality?
My argument is a rounded, nuanced argument considering all sides of the situation, as always.
I think it's based on about 3 months of Jones and Rocco being good, when actually there's a good 2 years of Rocco being utter shit and Jones being injured to have a look at, which are much better evidence of their overall quality for United. But, hey, that's just me. I don't write listicles on the internet, so
would you keep say you had a choice, keep Phil Jones or keep Chris Smalling? You'd keep Smalling, would you?
Yeah, probably. I mean, and Jones is clearly the more rounded, more talented player, but he's just always injured. Except this season. But he's injured now.
But he's currently injured. So, I mean, Chris Smalling's had a lot of injury troubles as well. I should point this out. Like, it was a long time before he played 1,000 minutes in a season. Adnan Januzaj on this list, sort of almost like reluctantly, but feels like he had to have an amazing season at Sunderland to have any chance. I mean, if we sign Griezmann, there's 0% chance Januzaj stays, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's playing all right at Sunderland. I mean, obviously they got spanked at the weekend, so, maybe not so good then. But feels like he's a player with enough natural talent that he needs to have a really good career. And it's not worked out for him so far. It's a shame because, as the song goes, he can do anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except apparently have a good attitude.
Matteo Darmian. That's a pretty straightforward one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, the last one is like, I mean, come on. Do I really need to say who the last one is?
David De Gea?
Nope, it's not David De Gea. Just to clarify that it's not David. Don't even joke about it, Ed. Don't.
David Deflating?
Yeah. The De Gea stories have been doing the rounds this week. I'm scared, Ed. I'm scared.
Yeah, but he's got a 5-year contract now, or 4 years, or whatever. So if Real Madrid really want him, they're going to have to pay megabucks.
And we'll reinvest those megabucks in exciting, talented attackers we don't need.
Yes, and not Kasper Schmeichel, as some people said it should be last summer. Having an absolute stinker. Leicester going down, aren't they?
I mean, I guess so, yeah. They lost again this weekend. And to Swansea? You can't just go losing to Swansea willy-nilly. That is not a good look.
It's certainly not. And neither is us rambling inanely. I didn't give you a prediction, so I'm going to say United 2, Saint-Etienne 0. You did. And I'm going to say 3-1 to United in the Cup.
Well, that'd be good if we do that. The idea of us conceding a goal leaves a bitter taste in the mouth. I've forgotten what that was like. Just much like not being in sixth. I don't remember what it was like to concede, but yeah. All right, well, everyone will be in a jolly good mood if that happens, no doubt. And we will be back next week. If you want a bit more of the show and you're already backing us, then stay tuned. You'll get a bit more of the show. But if this inane rambling hasn't been enough inane rambling, we got some more inane rambling lined up for you. If you want to get involved with all that, patreon.com/rantcast. And you can get me on Twitter at UTDRantcast. You can get Ed on Twitter at UnitedRant. Both, or more accurately, neither of us on Facebook. And otherwise, we'll see you next week.
See you then.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.